This is the TCL 10 Pro, and I know barely anything about it. And that's not because I'm an idiot, although that is true sometimes. It's because that's not what TCL is trying to do here at CES. They have three phones, the 10 Pro, the 10 5G, and the 10L, and the hardware kind of doesn't matter. The thing you should really take away from this is that TCL has three phones, all of which are coming to the United States, all of which will be sold for under $500. And if you know anything about TCL and its Alcatel sub-brand, you know that it does have really strong relationships with US carriers, which could give it a serious leg up compared to, well, basically every other company that's ever tried to break into the US smartphone game. I mention all of this mostly because I've played around with these phones a bit, and from what I've been able to determine, they are in fact quite nice. But more than that, I think it's important to remember that there's a very strong likelihood that within the next couple months, you're going to see these things everywhere. All right, so I lied a little bit. I do know a bit about these phones. They all appear to have roughly 6.5-inch displays. The TCL 10 Pro does have a curved display, I believe it's an AMOLED, and looks quite sharp, so it's at least in the 1080p ballpark. It does appear to be running Android 10, although that's not quite final, so we'll have to wait and see. But a lot of the things about these phones aren't final. They have 4 cameras around back, which presumably include the standard wide, ultra-wide, and telephoto cameras, although I've only been able to see a few of them, and even then I don't think I was supposed to. That is not a bad list of specs for a first phone in a new market like this. So for TCL to walk into the US and say, well, hey, you can have this really nicely spec'd out phone with solid cameras apparently, and what appears to be a pretty clean build of Android, and performance that, at least in my super limited time with these devices, appears to be on the upper end of acceptable. That's a pretty strong argument to maybe buy one of these phones over a Motorola or a ZTE in the first place. But chew on this possibility. Imagine walking into a carrier store and seeing one of these and being told, well, hey, if you spend $500 or so on a TCL phone, we'll also give you an Alcatel tablet and maybe also a TCL TV. That is the strength that TCL brings to this situation. They have their hands in so many different little pockets that they could use the power of its brand right now to really incentivize you buying one of their phones that you've never heard of. But they're not all going to look like this either. TCL famously said last year that it was working on foldable phones and it'll probably be under $1,000, which is kind of the sweet spot. Remember, the Galaxy Fold, just about $2,000. The Motorola Razr, when it does launch at some point this month, will go for about $1,500. They did show off a new concept here at CES, which is basically just a more polished version of the concept we saw last year. It's basically a foldable tablet with a 7.8-inch screen. When you fold it in half, there's no screen visible. It's just a beautiful sort of jewel finish on both sides. You crack it open and you've got a tablet, which is actually quite nice. But that's not gospel. That isn't necessarily what their first foldable will be. We know for a fact that they're actually quite fond of the clamshell design of the Razr, so it's very possible that might be TCL's first. While it was easy enough to sleep on TCL phones, you probably won't be able to for that much longer. In the past, it's been easy enough to overlook TCL TVs until you just couldn't anymore. They were too good for too reasonable amount of money. And I think we're fast approaching the point where the same could be said of a TCL smartphone. And if all goes according to TCL's plans, that'll probably start happening in around Q2 of this year, so about March onward. We'll have to wait and see, but for now, thanks for watching, and be sure to stay tuned for more CES 2020 coverage.